I see trees of green, red roses too. I see them bloom for me and you. And I think to myself, what a wonderful world. Yes, I think to myself, what a wonderful world.
I just can't stand hearing those things, the sound they make.
It's fine. I'm Andrew. This is Marissa.
Yeah, I'm John.
So John, do you know what's going on? I mean, the rest of the world?
I don't know. Last I heard before the news went out, these things were everywhere.
Yeah, I heard that too. But the news went out 3 days ago, and even the radio stopped transmitting.
Yeah, it's been like 6 or 7 days already.
Man, a week? A nuclear holocaust couldn't do what these things have done. So John, who were you before all of this?
Yeah, I was a criminal defense attorney. Had my own practice, defending all these criminals and drug dealers and murderers. I knew they were all guilty, and I basically helped them all go free. It wasn't the best time of my life, but I really loved it when I was getting paid, I don't know if I can live with myself with that now. I was at my office, and I heard the screaming and just the terror in the voice, screaming and shouting. And I went outside, and one of the women that worked in my office, she was on the ground, and there was this guy over her, and he was just like tearing at her, and just like there was blood and screaming, and it was horrible. She was staring at me to help her, and he was eating her. She was staring at me for help, and I ran. I just ran. And I got out into the street, and they were chasing people down and just grabbing at them and tearing at them. And there were gunshots and there was blood everywhere. I just ran. So I finally made it to my house, and they hadn't gotten in there yet. So I went in, I got into my safe, and I took out all the cash and my rifle that my father had given me. He was in Vietnam, and he wanted me to keep it safe. And I hid out my house. Dad was in Vietnam, and he wanted me to, keep this rifle safe, He fought, the spread of communism, and I was letting murderers walk free. He'd be real happy with me now, huh? I hid out in my house for a few days, and they finally got in. I could hear them outside the whole time, though. So I ran. I ran to my friend's house down the street, and I got in there, and he'd become one of them. So I kept running. I ran into this basement where I met you two. So Andrew, right? What about you?
I was living with my parents at the time. They just took in Marissa after her parents got locked up. They treated her like one of our own. Then we started running with a bad crowd, doing things we had no business of doing. I was failing in school, and then we got involved with the local gang. Then my parents started to have me arrested. I knew they wouldn't, though. They loved me and Marissa too much. One night we got into a fight with my folks. I was just so angry. And I just left and took Marissa with me. And while we were leaving, we saw someone walking, stumbling up the street. I should have stayed. We got back after a few hours, and my folks were dead. Just dead. Blood everywhere. We ran out, and we saw some sort of SWAT officer. We felt safe for a second, but then another one bit him. He shot it, then fell fell to the ground. He gave us his rifle and pistol and said, "Go, run." So we ran. And we hid in a few places for a few days. Then we found this basement. And not after an hour later, you ran in. Marissa hasn't said a word since she saw my folks dead. You should have stayed. Should have stayed. Maybe they'd still be alive, or you wouldn't have died alone.
That door's not gonna hold forever.